it's okay to want nice things. In fact, you always say it's no fun to live below your means. That's no kind of life. What you want to do is purchase assets that will pay for the liabilities that you desire and for the lifestyle that you desire. And that was a huge light bulb moment for me. And that's the way that I try to live my life. If I want to buy a boat or a plane or a car, I try to buy an asset that will support that, or a series of assets that will support that. And you further said that the poor and middle class focus on saving their money and purchasing liabilities. And that's the huge dividing line, in addition to the fact that the poor and middle class pay way more in taxes than the rich. So can we talk just a little bit about the difference, your definition of the difference between an asset and a liability?
You look up the definition of asset in the dictionary, it's the most confusing thing you ever read.
Yeah.
Look up liability in the dictionary, most confusing thing you ever read. So the very simple definition my rich dad gave me, because he was a simple man, never went to school. He says, assets put money in your pocket, whether you work or not. And liabilities take money from your pocket, whether you work or not. So that's why a rich dad, poor dad said, your house is not an asset, it's a liability. Because we all know our houses, even if they're debt free, they cost us money. I mean, my landscaping bill on my property is probably $2,000 a month. Insurance, repairs, upkeep, electricity, and all this. So most people, their house is paid for, it's still a liability. Now, if I buy a rental unit and I'm netting, let's say, like playing Monopoly, if I have one greenhouse on the Monopoly board, I get $10. That's an asset. I'm making $10. It's not big money, but $10 is better than losing $10.
Sure.
So I would borrow money to make the $10. So I would borrow money to buy assets. The poor and middle class borrow money to buy liabilities, like a house, a car, college education, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the middle class and poor are in serious trouble. And again, it goes back to the definition. If you don't understand the words you're using, you're in serious trouble. That's like calling a rattlesnake a garter snake.
Yeah.
The sucker bites you.
What I love also is that you've kind of elevated the team that you surround yourself with. You have Garrett Sutton, you have Tom Wheelwright, who's just an incredible CPA and a great thinker. What importance do you place on surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you in other areas that you're not educated in?
Well, Mark, the advantage I had, I was a C student all the way through school. And A students take the test on their own. C students cheat. I call it cooperation.
Yeah, you figured out the team early.
And so as a young kid, again, it goes back to about 10 years old. My poor dad, everybody has bills, and everybody has bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were struggling. My poor dad was so deeply in debt, but he'd sit alone at night and try and figure out his problems on his own. That was my poor dad, because he's an A student, alone.
Yeah.
And then I go listen to my rich dad. He didn't go to school, so he didn't think asking for help was cheating. So he'd sit once a month, he'd have a meeting with all of his friends, his accountants, attorneys, his business guys, friends, and it says, this is my business problem. And everybody had a piece of the puzzle. Why'd you try this? You try that, you try this, try that. The banker would say one thing, the accountant would say one thing, the attorney would say one thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I realized the best way for me to get through school is to be a C student, cheat. The reason I make so much money today is I'm still a C student, but I call it cooperation.
Sure.
And the smartest guys like Tom Wheelwright and Garrett Sutton, I don't have to go to law school. I don't have to go to, heaven forbid. And I don't want to go to accounting school. I don't want to go to med school. I don't want to go to dental school. Just do what I mean. It's so obvious, but the E students all think, well, I got to do it on my own. Big business guys cheat, and tries the small guys crazy.